programme. We have 2 heats to go beforehand. There are 32 cars in each race, and in it, heat number 1, that is, we have Stuart Smith, number 1. Now, the organisation is that several drivers have already qualified for the Oddsall World Final. Smith is one of them, Beresford's another. Those drivers that have not qualified at all aren't in the semi-final today, or have already qualified from the Aycliffe semi-final, are in the first 2 heats. Then we have the 20 cars that have qualified for the semi-final coming up in the 3rd race. So Stuart Smith and Dave Beresford at the back are looking just for normal points in the PPS Challenge Shield here tonight. And Heat 3 is that semi-final. So cars lining up now for the first heat. As I say, sponsored by PPS, that's Publicity Print Services of Ashton and Makerfield, printers of the programme here at Belle Vue, and several speedway tracks as well. We have on the front row of the grid 449, John Paget from Doncaster in Yorkshire. On the inside of him, pole position in Heat 1, 424, Michael Hayward, local man from Manchester. Second row of the grid, we have 312, Pete Lancaster. Pete from Keighley in Yorkshire. On the outside of him, Colin Baldry from Goole on the Humberside. Then we have 419, Mick Stecco, and Mick is from Enderby in Leicestershire, and outside him 378, one of the March Bodies cars, Wayne Handley, and indeed he is the man from Enderby, Stecco from West Bridgford in Nottinghamshire. On down to the yellows, not too easy to pick out the names there, but I can tell you on the front row of the grid we have Ken Brown, yellow top driver, number 35. On the inside of him we have number 57, Rob Lane. Ken Brown, not to be confused with Mal. Mal Brown is 34, Ken Brown is 35. Very similar cars apart from that. We have 412 out there. That is Dave Tapping in the new car, I think you'll find. Let's look at the blues, though. There we have 73, Rob Cowley. 29, Ian Higgins. Just in front, it looks like 367, Arthur Gibson on the left-hand side, just in front of Cowley's car. Also have 294, John Dowson, just in front of Higgins. Well, the starter waits for the cars now to be assembled for Heat 1. 16-lap race, standard format for the first couple of heats here tonight, with 8 cars qualifying for the final, the remainder going through to the consolation later on. And the atmosphere here is electric. It's certainly good to see so many people in this historic stadium. 56 years old this year, Belle Vue Stadium. The first purpose-built speedway stadium in the country. Opened in 1929 after the old Belle Vue Speedway team had opened up at the Greyhound track just down the road. But since 1929 has staged speedway continuously every season throughout the war, and then when stock car racing came to this country, it started here at Belle Vue in 54. Well, we've been blessed with some good weather here tonight at this hydroed venue on the east side of Manchester, and the sunshine giving plenty of people the chance to bask on the terraces. Well, they're off and rolling now. Being sent round now on this shale oval. Was granite dust for a number of years, but in the last few years has been red shale. And the yellow is being sent round. We have the lady driver out in this one, 377 Jane Bean, former saloon stocks driver at Buxton, the high edge circuit, now adapting to going the other way around the track in the Formula Ones. The first lady to win a race for goodness knows how many years. In fact, I think the last time was way back in the late 50s. She won a heat at Oddsall not so long ago. Blues going through there, 280, that's not a name we see too often. That's Simon Gill from Sabden in Yorkshire. You do get 1 or 2 cars here that you won't see at other tracks, of course, and indeed another man out in this one's 218 Derek Fairhurst, according to the programme. Haven't quite caught sight of the 218 car as yet. Indeed, he is out there on the front row of the Blues. So it's Smith and Beresford at the back, 2 very familiar faces. We've seen Paget a couple of times in the past, in 449, I think up at Aycliffe. 424, Mike Hayward, though, is the first-timer on screen sport as far as my memory serves me. The green flag is down, though, and the race is underway. Heat 1 of this PPS Challenge Shield here tonight. 424 leads them off, Mike Hayward. And indeed, he's been overtaken by Paget. The cars sorting themselves out, coming down the straight. One car ending up on the infield there briefly. Smith at the back. Strong sunshine over this Belle Vue Stadium. 4:49 leads them off, then John Paget. 4:24 is second. Looking for the yellows, trouble there with 4:54 hitting problems. That's Phil Haig. Getting involved there with Rob Lane. Red tops as well. Andy Stott takes a momentary flight. Rod Farley getting caught. Dave Tapping having a rough ride from Wayne Handley. Dave Tapping out in a newly painted car here tonight. Another couple of cars drifting wide. One car parked up on the entry to the turn there. 418-yard circuit here at Belle Vue. And Stuart Smith just comes through, number one, getting past the car spinning out. 181, Gary Walker. One of them in. Higgins pulling out already in car 29. The front wheel's gone. So Higgins will have to look for the consolation now. The speedway exclusion lights getting in the shot there. 4:49 Paget going through. Trying to take Dowson out there, I think it is, number 294. And Paget's pulled off. Well now, with Paget off in 4:49, we'll sort out the leader now. Out of those whites, I think it is. It might well be 4:24. We really do need starters confirmation. And indeed, as they come down the straight, it goes out, and it goes out to 4:24. So it's 4:24 Mike Hayward who leads. Had to just check just in case any of those cars in front had actually gone past. Second place is 312. That's Pete Lancaster. Stuart Smith still tailing Dave Beresford, looking for the gap through. He might just slipstream behind. Looks like James Bean just in front of them. No, indeed, it's Rob Bradsell, 265. Apologies there to Rob. Well, the two white tops having problems there, and the yellow comes through. It's 4:12, Dave Tapping, who goes past the two whites. I do remember Tapping having a rough ride. I don't think he's lost any places, though. Tapping, it looks like, out in front now in the 4:12 car. Smith and Beresford having their duel down through the field. There's something like half a lap down on the leader. Might be less. Indeed, it is less. It's something like 30-40 yards. As Smith and Beresford go down into the high road turn. Well, there's Tapping, 4-2, just clouting a blue top who heads out into the fence. Looks like Buster Watson, 59. He's been collected by Stu Smith, 139 from Chesterfield. There's that 218 car. That blue top I mentioned earlier, Derek Fairhurst. Well, there's first and second. It's Tapping first, second 312, Pete Lancaster. You may remember Pete as the driver who lost both front and rear axles at Sheffield earlier in the season in that 312 car. Looks like the axles are in place a little bit better tonight. Well, Tapping first. We're past the halfway mark now with the checkered, or rather the Union Jack flag having gone out. So just over 7 laps left. So there's Smith now in third place. Just behind 312 Lancaster. So there's the leader, Dave Tapping, trying to get through the back markers before Smith comes up. There's the first three, Tapping, Lancaster and Smith. Going down into the pits turn. Smith just going past Lancaster like he wasn't there. Lancaster going wide. Now can Tapping hold him out? Smith having problems coming down the straight though. And he's past Phil Haig, one of the back markers. And Tapping is now just a couple of wheel widths away. Smith looking to put the bumper in now, going down into the turn, stalking his prey. Tapping perhaps wisely going wide as Smith goes through. Nothing stopping Stu Smith there, going into the closing stages of the race, challenging Rob Lane now. And laps the 57 car. Looked like Tapping was trying to put the bumper back in on Smith there. Up in the fourth place, by the way, is Dave Beresford. Looks like Ken Brown not too far behind, at 35 in fifth. So there goes Tapping in 412. In second place, there's the leader, Stuart Smith, number one, the world champion. Third place, we have Pete Lancaster. Fourth is Dave Beresford. Rob Cowley's heading out to the fence in what you could call the Snoopy car with cartoon character on the wing. Well, there is the leader going down into the turn. 412, or rather number one, Stu Smith. There's 412 in second place. Dave Tapping. Well, another one of the March Bodies cars into the fence. Phil Wheelson there, number 411, up to yellow top for the current grading period. So Wheelson having problems getting caught on the ropes. Smith now pressuring John Dowson, back marker, trying to get some speed up now, going down the back straight. Looks like he's got the Hartlepool Raceway sticker back on the spoiler. Stuart Smith then in the car they've dubbed the Golden Wonder this year. Looking for victory now in this Formula One Heat 1, but he's any problems there. He clouted Dowson's car, just going past Mick Stecco, 419. Tapping's too far back to take advantage of any Smith problems. He's put 3 cars between him and the second place man. Third place now is Dave Beresford in 260, but I don't think Bez is going to be able to get near. Indeed he doesn't. There's the checkered flag. It's the win for the world champion Stuart Smith in Heat 1 here tonight at Belle Vue. So Smith wins. Second goes to 412, Dave Tapping, and third place goes to 260, Dave Beresford. That's the 1-2-3 in Heat 1 of the PPS Challenge Shield here tonight at Belle Vue. Stuart Smith, the world champion, impressing on everybody else. That's whoever joins him on pole position in this year's world final is going to have to reckon with the maestro himself, because Smith was the winner. Smith was the winner of that semi-final up at Aycliffe. So Smith is already there in that world final on pole position. The winner of today's semi-final will go with him on the front row of the grid. It looked like Tapping may have been second, but Dave Beresford was up there as well. Indeed, if Tapping was marked down, it would have been Beresford in second. He looked third there, though, at the end. We await confirmation from race control, but it looks like a 1-2-3 of Stu Smith, Dave Tapping, Dave Beresford, but no stopping the maestro there, making it all look easy in Heat 1, Stuart Smith. Results now of the first heat of tonight's PPS Challenge Shield. First place, number 1, Stuart Smith. Dave Tapping confirmed as second. Third was Dave Beresford. Fourth was Rob Bradsell, yellow top 265 getting up there. Then John Howell, 366. 36 Rod Fielding, 35 Ken Brown. 280 Simon Gill. 310 Paddy Byrne, and 218 Derek Fairhurst. All of them down to Gill, qualifying for the final. Byrne and Fairhurst must go through the consolation. Well, once more, if my memory serves me right, there was only one white top in last year's world final meeting, obviously not in the race itself, but in the supporting heats. And it was that man there, 214, Charles Pickering from Liversedge in Yorkshire. Has quite a reputation on the northern circuits for creating his own form of stock car action. Cars being sent round, along with Pickering, on the running lap now for heat number 2. We have a crop, so to speak, of 5 white tops in this. It certainly is a good field of cars. 32 cars in each of these first 2 heats. There we have 55, Bert Finnegan. Well, Bert, one of the top drivers in the sport, the current British Drivers' Champion in that won in that meeting at Northampton earlier this year. Cars setting off on their rolling lap. Finnegan in 4th place in the first semi-final up at Newton Aycliffe. Certainly plenty of cars out in this meeting. 84 cars programmed, 64 in the first 2 heats, and then that field of 20 coming up in the semi-final, which is after this on tonight's program. 51 Mo Smith was the last qualifier at Aycliffe in 10th place, based down in Essex at Aveley near the Dartford Tunnel. 213 Des Chandler on the inside of him. Mike Shirley 395 goes up to red in the next grading period. Rob Pearce there 175. But there is Charles Pickering 214, about to lead them off, waiting for that green flag to drop. So that's Pickering there. Looks like 535 Dave Cusack with him. Cusack down from yellow back to white for the current month. And the green flag drops, so let's see them get underway, and it is Pickering who is just beaten into it by Dave Cusack in 535. Well, looking for the cars to sort themselves out. Already one yellow top on the centre green. It's 347 Andy Shaw. Pretty well orderly going down into the turn. Plenty of dust rising here on this drying Belle Vue circuit. Dave Mellor having problems catching up with Brian Tuplin. Bert Finnegan on the inside having to cut onto the field to get out the way of the 2 cars with their problems. It's 535 Dave Cusack who leads. Charles Pickering second in 214. Tuplin left at the back of that group of reds now. Behind them 104 Warren Jackson. And there is the leader, Dave Cusack, followed by Charles Pickering. Then comes 329 Stu Young. Still 3 white tops leading. And a long, long way down behind Young, 499. Les Mitchell has pulled off in 4th place currently. It is 182 Mike Cheatham. 327 there, Howard Davis, long traveller up from Cheltenham, hitting problems, pulling off onto the centre green and having problems there with the rear wheel. And the tyre completely off the rim. Well, Pickering slowing down somewhat, about to be overhauled by Stu Young, but Dave Cusack's well away in 535. Leading blue top, I can tell you, is Des Chandler, who's already working his way through the yellows. Leading red top is Dave Mellor. The current situation, John Russell and 370 Jeff Keeling are 2 of the drivers that have been dropped from the main body of the cars. And there indeed we have that race leader, 5.35, Dave Cusack. This track's certainly drying out after being well watered before the meeting. Cusack going past number 87, another white top we haven't seen before, Neil Brigg from Huddersfield. And away he goes, 5.35. Well, Cusack does have a good lead over the rest of the cars. He's got a couple of white tops not too far behind, but the yellows are still a long way back. So there goes Cusack in 5.35, down is the hydro turn, and Stu Young coming past the tail ender without any problems whatsoever. Coming through the field strongly though is Des Chandler in 2.13. There's 51 Mo Smith just getting left by Rob Pearce. This the chasing pack of blues. But Smith getting edged out somewhat there. Coming into view there, Bert Finnegan. And there you see how the blues are closing in on the yellows now. It's difficult to see obviously on the turn, the combination of the sunlight and the dust making things tricky. 5.35, Cusack is the leader. Cusack from Preston in Lancashire. Cusack closing in on another back marker. It's 3.34. 3.34 Dave Atkinson. 1.04 Warren Jackson going past. Charles Pickering getting back in the race after spinning out. And there goes Pearce. Behind him Des Chandler. He was going up through the order very strongly, but he's been caught now by Rob Pearce in 1.75. Pearce, a former red top. And Chandler being edged wide there on the turn, going through John Wright in 1.28, and the Long Heat man's having a good night tonight here in Heat 2. Halfway stage is reached. 5.35, Dave Cusack about to lap. Charles Pickering in 2.14. Second is 3.29, Stu Young not far behind. Third now is Pearce. That is the race roughly for fourth place. Chandler going down as the turn, Mo Smith in hot pursuit. Pearce is third, fourth is Wright, fifth is Shirley, sixth now is Mo Smith, but Pete Bashford lives up to his name, bashing the fence there, 1.07. John Russell taking up the challenge at the back there over the field. He's got a long way to go in 1.40. Well, going around past the pits is the race leader, 5.35. Somehow I feel that Cusack's not going to get caught here. Cusack with the 30-yard lead over Rob Pearce in 1.75. Then comes 1.28, John Wright. 3.95, Mike Shirley. 3.29, Stu Young. Behind him, Mo Smith, then Des Chandler, and Finnegan's coming through. He's past Mo Smith now. Finnegan now with his eyes on the lead. He's got a fair way to go, something like a third of a lap. Finnegan closing in on 3.29, Stu Young. He's still got a lot of cars to get past. Edges Young out of the way. Going down into the hydro turn past the spun-out car of Mike Shirley, 3.95. 3.29 hits the fence. Not surprising, must be difficult to see out there. Well, the race leader is there, going into the closing stages of the race, and Rob Pearce is closing in 1.75. Third, John Wright. Fourth now is Finnegan in 55. And there goes Pearce through into the lead. Rob Pearce now number 175, leads here in Heat 2. Rob Pearce from Huncote in Leicestershire. Well, there's John Wright up strongly as well in 1.28 behind him, Bert Finnegan 55. The placing's being counted down by the starter. Well, John Wright had problems on that turn. He's drifted wide there, and Finnegan is through in 55. It through into third place. So we have first Rob Pearce, 1.75. The checkered flag is out now for the Leicestershire driver. Rob Pearce wins Heat number 2 here at Belle Vue, and it's a close thing for second place. Finnegan just snatching it there in 55. So it's Pearce first, Finnegan second, and Dave Cusack third in 5.35 after a determined race by the Preston driver. It's Rob Pearce who caught him just with a couple of laps to go. And so Pearce takes top honours in Heat 2 of the PPS Challenge Shield here tonight. Bert Finnegan fighting through right at the end for second place, but couldn't quite make it through to catch the 1.75 car. But Finnegan going through to the final without any problems at all. Remind you of third place. Very determined drive by the white top driver, 5.35. Dave Cusack looks like fourth, may well have gone to John Wright, although it all went a bit crazy there on that final section of straight. For Rob Pearce, though, he was well clear. He got home for the win. But Finnegan just edging home right on the line. Inside the last 30 yards, Finnegan was through for second, but he could not catch that 1.75 car. The winner of Heat number 2, Rob Pearce. Well, Dave, it looked like, what, 2 to go, and you just got edged out.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm The car's going well. We've got it set up right, but it's just a little bit short of power on the top end, unfortunately. But we tried our best.
It was looking pretty good at one stage once you'd shrugged off Mr. Pickering.
Well, Charlie's everybody's friend, and if you can get in front of him, you're not doing so bad.
Yes, there's a bit in the programme about him being quite a character at times. Anything go through your mind when you got 214 lining up alongside you at the start?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go like hell when the flag drops.
Well, that you certainly did, but Rob Pearce just got you. How did he actually get you? Just a nudge out?
No, I saw him coming, and when you know you've not got enough power to beat the guy that's coming up on your back bumper, you've not got a lot of choice, only just edge her a little bit to one side and let him come through, and you settle for second best in that case.
It was very close on the line, though, with Finnegan getting the second off you, but you must be pleased with the third.
Excellent, yeah, very pleased, and of course to get third and then be told that you've won a trophy for best white top of July, for highest point scoring white in July, is even better, like.
Was that nationally, or was that just here at Belle Vue?
No, that's nationally.
That's nationally,
yeah.
So you'll be upgraded a fair bit on the
yes,
next
well, we'll definitely go back up to yellow. I don't think we've enough to creep up to blue, but we'll definitely go back up to yellow again. That's where we belong.
Yes, I do remember you were yellow last time. Obviously, you had a couple of problems if you've dropped down to white earlier on in the season.
Yeah, with a couple of bad runs, we couldn't just get the car running right, and we had the front axle set slightly wrong, and it just wasn't throwing into the bends properly. But we've got a first-class team of fitters now, and they've been right behind us. And well, I mean, if it weren't for the fitters, I'd just never be out here racing. It's as simple as that. They're brilliant, them lads.
Yes, well, of course, this is it. You're the forefront of it, actually driving it. But there is a team behind every man, isn't it? That mustn't be forgotten by the viewers, must it?
Oh no! I mean, without them guys led on the back in them pits, you know, and I mean the weather doesn't bother them at all. I mean, it can be raining, snowing, anything. They'll lay in mud, sludge, anything. They don't bother. And of course, there is one other important backer, and that's the Y. She sticks with me through all the thick and thin, and pats me on the back when I do well, and slaps me hands when I do bad.
Well, at least you got something to take home to show for it tonight. Congratulations, yep. Dave.
Okay.
And thanks very much.
Okay, thank you. Ta-da.
Results now of Heat 2 of this PPS Challenge Shield Trophy meeting. And the winner, 175, Rob Pearce. Second, Bert Finnegan. Third, Dave Cusack. Fourth, 128, John Wright. Mo Smith was fifth in 51. Then came Dave Mellor in 304. Des Chandler, 213, who was showing well early on, but faded as the race continued. Eighth place was 34, Mal Brown. Those eight qualify. In ninth place, Pete Bashford, despite that clouting of the fence, was able to finish, but just missed out on the place in the final. 10th was Mike Shirley in 395, needed a complete 360 spin out as well, and still recovered to get 10th place. Those two, though, go with the rest of the non-qualifiers through to the consolation. Next race coming up, the big one, the World Championship semi-final. The tension mounts, the fanfare plays as the cars set off. For 10, it's a passport to the World Championship final. For 10, it's just that all-pervading sense of frustration about having been that close and not made it. A puncture, an engine failure, can ruin a man's season here in this race. It happened to Richard Ainsworth at Aycliffe. He was placed 6th. At which point, a puncture put him out of the World Championship. It's as simple as that. Sudden death here tonight at Belle Vue. A one-off race, 20 cars, 10 qualify. It's as simple as that. Those cars lining up, and it's Wainman taking the outside position with close on the inside, close with the higher points, getting the inside as it is all the way down through the grids. That'll be an interesting one. Close had a front row position at Long Eaton last year in the meeting we covered, and it was a puncture that ruled him out of the World Championship at that point and saw him loan his car to Len Wolfenden in the World Final, which was held, of course, here at Belle Vue. Well, those cars are going to be held pretty rigidly in position by the starter. He could quite easily ask them for extra laps. I do think you'll find that you get 2 rolling laps here on this one. Cars moving up. There is a problem there. It looks like Nigel Wharton, it might be, who's had to pull up. Or indeed it's not. No, it's Len Wolfenden 190. Just trying to go on the wing rather than the car itself. So there's Wolfenden 190, not to be confused with Joe Jopling, because the cars are very similar in colour scheme at least, although Wolfenden has got the wing on top, and indeed Jopling's on the inside to confuse the issue further. So long range with the Marquee livery, could cause problems, but the car's substantially different when you look at them closely. One clearly a close car and one clearly a Wainman car. And talking Mike Close, there he is in the Moxie car, 199, Frankie Wainman on the outside. Frankie having to use the tarmac car here tonight because the shale car blew up at Crewe recently, so could be slightly handicapped by that. Willie Harrison, a veteran that started with the sport back in the early 50s. Peter Faulding behind him, John Lund creeping up slightly there. I think they've lost some of the organisation there on the rows. Going down into the shadows now of the pit turn. The yellows are still showing the pace. Vans pull off and the race is now in readiness. The green flag is being hidden from the drivers by the yellow flag as it finally comes to the climax. The last race in the World Championship for these drivers before the final itself. Who's going to be with Smith on pole position? The winner of this race will be there. And down goes the green flag, and it's Close who's made the break. Second place is Willie Harrison. And so Wainman has been dropped already. He's dropped down into fifth. Close has gone wide, and Lund is away. And Wharton spun out. Harrison's gone with him. This is chaos. This is terrible for these drivers. Now, drivers caught there. Joe Jopling, Willie Harrison, Nigel Wharton, Dave Taylor. Disaster for those men on that first, or rather second turn. John Lund leads. Robbie Craig's already had a trip onto the infield. Bobby Burns getting involved there. This is certainly dramatic stuff for the opening couple of laps. Well, Close is in second. He's managed to survive the problems to maintain a second place. John London is who leads in number 53. So it's Lund first, second is Close, third is Wolfenden. Look at that, straight up from 7th row on the grid to third inside 2 laps. Marvellous driving by Wolfenden. I'm sure the last man Stu Smith wants to see on the front row of the grid along with him at odds, so will be Wolfenden. So Lund is second now. Wainman's dropping a fair way out of it. His World Championship hopes came to grief here at Belle Vue last year in a crash with, I think it was Brian Anderson, one of the 2 Kiwi drivers in the world final. It is Lund then who leads in 53, second 190. Or indeed it is still Mike Close who leads 199. Second place John Lund 53. Third is Len Wolfenden 190. Fourth then we have number 286 John Toulson. Then Nigel Hardy 317. Frankie Wainman 212. Joe Jopling 452. 203 Dan Clark. 62 Robbie Craig. 85 Ray Tilsley. 471 Bobby Burns. 422 Nigel Wharton. 33 Peter Faulding. Then Les Spencer, Keith Riley, Brian Tupper, or rather Graham Blundell, Gary Walker, Willie Harrison. That's the way it stands all the way down through the field. So it looks as if veteran Harrison's chances went with that spin out on the second turn. This the race for the first, second and third. There's Close, the leader. Second Lund, third Wolfenden. Well, Close will be determined to wipe out the bad memories of last year's semi. Lund's had problems. One of the top rated drivers hitting problems there as the cars stream past. And Lund must feel sick. And the wheel's gone. So John Lund's name will not be going in the World Championship trophy this year. That gives a respite for the likes of Wainman, who can start coming back through. And Gary Heaps out 188. The blue top driver hitting problems. Wainman coming up strongly now behind Nigel Hardy in 317. Of course, it's not just about getting in the top 10. The further up you are in the finishing order, the further you are up in the actual grid positions at Belle Vue. A 5th place here will give you 5th row on the grid at Onsell. 10th will give you last. Once you put the Continentals in, of course, the Dutch and any other visitors, it takes you back a couple more grids as well. So Close looking now to get past Riley and Harrison. Close is first, Wolfenden is second, so it's Mike Close cars first and second. Toulson third, Wainman fourth, Hardy fifth, Jopling sixth. Then we have Spencer, Clark, Tilsley, Craig and Wharton. That's about the top 10 at the moment. Wolfenden's past Hardy, or rather Wainman's past Hardy. There's Wolfenden. Blundell a lap down in 156. His hopes are gone. Well, it's another remarkable performance by Len Wolfenden in the World Championship. Doesn't race too often, but when he does, he's effective. Toulson in third place, and acknowledged shale track man, or tarmac track man rather, saves a lot of his best performances for the tight tarmac of Aycliffe. Showing up well though on the shale here tonight at Belle Vue. Wayman recovering beautifully after problems early on. Up now into what it looks like fourth place. Harrison has been lapped now by Mike Close in 199. Riley's another lapped victim. Close has got 3 cars between him and Wolfenden. Then it's Toulson, Wainman, Hardy, Jopling, Clark, Tilsley, Wharton, Taylor, Burns, and Peter Faulding. Robbie Craig behind him. Slego's close. Willie Harrison a lap down. Riley's a lap down. So's Walker. Then we have Wolfenden. Wayman up into fourth place. Looking at fifth now there, and it just looked like Hardy was going to edge it out by the tail end of 156. Looking for the cars coming through. 471 Bobby Burns, Dave Taylor, Peter Faulding, Robbie Craig there. Looking for the leader now. There he is, Mike Close. So Close well on his way to a good place in the world final. The 5-lap marker is being readied now by the starter. Now that is the battle for second. Wolfenden second, third place, 286 John Toulson. Well, Wolfenden came off a reserve position, the last row of the grid at Long Eaton to make a place in the world final last year. He's come off 7th row of the grid to make second here tonight, but Wayman is closing in all the time in 2-1-2 on Toulson. The dust and the sunlight making obvious problems there going into the second turn. There you have it, Wayman closing in on Toulson all the time. The fans on their feet around the stadium cheering on their favourites now. It's now or never for these drivers. Mike Closer had all the cruelest luck in the world last year. Looking for safety now, of course. They've got to watch how many cars they touch. They've got to watch how they touch them. You could pick up damage that could put you out of the race. Cars streaming through now down into the dust of the turn. Wayman in fourth place, looking down to fifth. And it's Nigel Hardy fifth, Joe Jopling sixth, then Dan Clark, Nigel Wharton. Looks like Tilsley might just make a place in the final. Into the closing stages now. It looks as if Mike Close could be on his way to pole position and a place. You could say a date with Stuart Smith in September on front row of the grid at Odsall in the Formula One World Championship final. Wolfenden holding down second place. So Close can bask in the reflected glory of a second place as well, with one of his cars being piloted home by Len Wolfenden. Well, there is Wolfenden in second. He's still got to go past Harrison and Riley. I think he might just settle for second. Toulson's got to worry more about Frankie Wayman now. Dan Clark's out into the fence, but the checkered flag is being readied now for 199. Mike Close. Well, Close wins it. Now it's the matter of trying to check off who's also made the final. Second, it looks like 190 Len Wolfenden. Third place went to John Toulson, 286. Fourth to 212 Frankie Wayman. Looks as if also going through to the world final. Nigel Hardy, Nigel Wharton, Joe Jopling, Ray Tilsley, Bobby Burns, and I think Peter Faulding just made it as well. We'll obviously have to have official confirmation from race control, but heartbreak there for one or two drivers. Willie Harrison amongst them. That pile-up on the second turn, claiming so many drivers' hopes there of progression to the world final. But Len Wolfenden is going to be on second row of the grid at Odsall. And they do say Odsall's a Gators track, to use the speedway term. If you've got the front row, you can't really be caught. It's a difficult track to pass on. So the higher placing at Bradford is going to be vital. Close has got it. He lines up alongside Stuart Smith on the front row of the grid at the BriSCA Formula One World Championship final at Bradford later on in the season. So Close wiping out the cruel memories of last year's puncture at Long Eaton to win tonight's Formula One semi-final here at Belle Vue. The water goes over the radiators, the cars are cooled off, and academically the top 10 also go through to the meeting final. John Lund has the agony of going through exactly what Close went through last year. Lund, fourth in the national points this year, but out of the World Championship final. Who knows, we might even see the 53 car in the hands of one of the foreigners at the final, but it's disappointment obviously for John Lund. Jubilation for Mike Close. He'll know how Lund feels. He went through it last year. First place Mike Close, second Len Wolfenden, and a true 1-2 for Close. His cars in first and second. Wolfenden though with another fantastic drive, coming through from 7th row on the grid. You think about it, he had 13 cars in front of him at the start. He got second place in 190, but the winner of the World Championship semi-final here at Belle Vue in a marvellous race, 199, Mike Close. Well, Mike, many congratulations. You must be delighted after last year's disappointment.
Yeah, it was a good race. Our framing tyres wouldn't go down, and they didn't, so Had a good race.
You had some special strengthening in there after last year's puncture, did you?
Yeah, I must have had, I think.
So, what do you think of the race? Because you had the pole, but there were problems for drivers around you. You seemed to lose the lead at one point, was that right?
Yeah, John Lund came past. That bit of water at start just made it a bit stranger to watch where you were going. But it kept outside men a bit slower, so I got away all right. But John Lund came through like a rocket. But I was going faster than him once the race settled down, and did all right.
Of course, John now has the problem that you had last year, the agony of knowing that it was a puncture that put him out.
Did he? I didn't know he got a puncture. I didn't see what happened to him.
It looked like the wheel had collapsed at the back, looked like it was a flat. But were you surprised to see him disappear?
I was really, yeah. But as I say, as it dried out, obviously better in wet, but as soon as it dried out very quick, and, I was better in dry.
And you were constantly keeping about 2 or 3 back markers between you and Len Wolfenden in second, so you must have been feeling pretty confident all the way around.
I was, yeah, apart from mechanical failure, I was all right. I didn't know Len Wolfenden was second, actually. I couldn't see that far back.
Yeah, so it's been a bit of a problem. There's been a fair amount of dust.
Yeah.
But did it affect driving too much?
Not really, no. No, we just had to be careful passing back markers, but there were no problems, really.
Going ahead now to the big one. You're on that front row of the grid. I see you've just won the toss with Mr. Smith. How do you view that?
I think that it'll take a lot of beating with Stuart Smith, but I'll try hard.
Yes, Bradford's got a bit of a reputation as a good track to be at the front in.
Yeah, I'm sure winner will come out at first 2 or 3 rows.
So you must be feeling hopeful.
I'm hopeful, yeah.
Now, you won the world title before, haven't you?
Yeah, back in a long time ago, 77.
77, so
yeah.
you're looking for a second this year?
Yeah. About time I won it again, I think.
Yes, about time it comes round. Well, thanks very much, Mike.
Okay.
Best of luck for the world final. Thanks for talking to us.
Well, then last year it was from a reserve position into the world final. This year off 7th row. It's another marvellous performance.
Yeah, well, you've got it all to do. It's these lads that are on the front row that I've all worries on.
They've all the pressure on.
They've got all to win. I've got it all to do front back, and we managed to come second.
There was quite a pile-up on that second turn coming away, wasn't there?
Yeah. There were cars everywhere. One were coming at me. I thought, well, I shut my eyes, you see, and count to 5 and turn left.
Well, you suddenly seem to save it all for the big meetings now, because, of course, we don't see too much of you then.
No.
The British drivers now tonight, you're out in force.
Yeah.
I see you using a Mike Close car.
Yeah, very good machine. Last year for World Final, I used Mike's car. The one he's racing himself tonight, As I say, if it had been a 25-lap World Final last year, I should have won it, but it's all ifs and buts, if you aren't there on the... if you aren't on full song at that moment in time, well, you don't win, do you? The fastest man won on the night, which was Stuart Smith.
Well, tonight, you couldn't quite get up there on Mike, because there was always a couple of back markers in the way, wasn't there?
Yeah, I had a problem with number 488 for about 4 or 5 laps, He's one of my mates, so I didn't like putting him away, to get rid of him, but all the same, I had to push him round on the pitch bend to get past him.
Well, there again, second row of the grid at Bradford must be quite nice.
It's these lads that are on front row that will, that'll be worrying now.
I see the organisation's been set. Which drive will you be going behind it on? Has it been sorted out?
I think it's that new starter. They call him Stuart Smith, I think. He has a number 1 on his car.
I see, yes.
Yeah, he's a new driver,
a nice gold roof that you'd like to transfer somewhere else,
Yeah.
Should be an interesting start to the world final, shouldn't it?
Super, yeah.
Must be a great temptation to try and get the bumper in right at the start there.
Well, I don't think I did a lot of bumpering right at the start. I think everybody else did it, and I let them sort the sell out and went through, you see.
I think when he comes to the world final with Smith out in front, it's going to be very tempting, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's getting too old, is the old geese. That old geese is getting too old.
He's got to have this helmet now with an automatic wiper on now, hasn't he,
yeah.
to see where he's going?
Yeah, well, he needs a bit of an advantage.
Seriously, though, he's the man everyone's got to beat this year.
Yeah, well, he is, quite fair. He's been top, for such a long while. He's had such good gear. As I say, it might be raining. All can happen.
Certainly looks like an interesting meeting in the making.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Len.
Yeah.
Congratulations
Superb.
once more.
Thanks very much, everybody.
We now have that official result. The top 10 men, the qualifiers for the world final, are as follows. First, 199, Mike Close. Second, 190, Len Wolfenden. Third, 286, John Toulson. Fourth, Frankie Wayman, 212. Fifth, Nigel Hardy, 317. Sixth place, Nigel Wharton, 422. Seventh, Ray Tilsley, 85. Eighth, Bobby Burns, 471. Ninth, then making a world final, Robbie Craig, number 62. And 10th, just making it. There was a huge cheer when this was announced. Number 2, Willie Harrison. And final of tonight's meeting for the Publicity Print Services Challenge Shield. Cars off on the rolling lap. And we have a 20-lap race, as is normal for finals. Rolling start. Star and superstar drivers include 199, Mike Close, 471, Bobby Burns, 36, Rod Faulding. Basically, take your pick from the world of stock car racing. Now, as the cars do set off, I can tell you that man there, Willie Harrison, has now been ruled out of the world final. They have reassessed the positions in that semi-final, and Willie Harrison has been dropped out of the top 10, and Peter Faulding has been moved up from 14th place to number 9, which now makes Robbie Craig the 10th qualifier, and Willie Harrison does not qualify for the world final. He was judged to be behind Faulding. Faulding initially was, I think you'll find, called a lap down, but in fact subsequent evidence has proved that Faulding indeed was in the top 10. So there's no place in the world final for Willie Harrison after all. Well, Harrison out for the final at least of tonight's meeting. Scant consolation for him. He's alongside a man who has booked his place in the world final, Nigel Hardy, number 317. And indeed, Harrison and Hardy go down into the turn. Behind them, the superstar drivers, including the points and world champions. We have, lining up there, Peter Faulding, 33, with them. So he's in the world final after all. Not 14th, he was 9th in that semi-final. The green flag drops, and the race is underway. Off goes the white top, 535, Dave Cusack. Second place, Charles Pickering. Third, Rob Bradsell. That's basically it. Going down into the turn, Dave Mellor getting caught there on the back of John Dowson's car. Wolfenden's through in 190. Just slamming 304 out of the way. Mellor getting back into the field. Spin out there for Les Mitchell in 499, but it's Cusack who leads them away in 535. Pickering hot in his tail in 214. Bradsell's third. Tapping is now fourth in 412. Looking now for the leading red top, it is indeed Wolfenden, as you might have guessed, on tonight's form. And there indeed is the Wolf on the inside line in the green-white, and of course red car. Whole group of stars behind. John Toulson will be delighted with that qualification for the final. Oh, and there Mal Brown getting caught with Mo Smith and into the fence. Well, the sparks rise once more. I can tell you also there's trouble on the infield for Nigel Wharton, Mike Close, and also John Toulson. Dave Cusack goes through, oblivious to it all, out in front. Beresford going past Wayman, followed by Faulding. Toulson's been able to get back into the race. I think he's lapped down now, though. Just see the cars parked up on the infield. See them as they go into the turn. There they are, Close and Wharton out of the final for this PPS trophy. Publicity Print Services, by the way, the printers of the Belle Vue programme for Speedway and stock car racing, and also are selected as printers for this year's World Championship Speedway events at Odsal, along with various other Speedway teams and of course stock car tracks and other sports as well. Publicity Print Services getting themselves quite a reputation in the field of sports programme production, based in Ashton in Bakerfield. So it's Cusack first in 535. Burns battling it out there with Finnegan. Mellor behind, Harrison behind him in number 2. Finnegan just trying to get past. He's not going to find it easy. Burns is not the easiest man to pass. Mellor hanging on behind, looking for the gap to open up. Peter Faulding there just in front of Stu Smith. Need not remind you that Stu Smith is of course on the possible treble because he did win his heat. It's taking a while though to make an impact here in the grand final for the PPS Challenge Shield. Mellor broadsiding it round the turn. Finnegan going wide, and the Ashbourne man is through in 304. Well, as the cars come down, oh, Mellor again sticking the back end out. 471 Bobby Burns going past one of the yellow tops. But there is Cusack, he's still first. Second place there now is Rob Pearce at 175. Pearce pretty close. I think you'll find Toulson's a lap down. Des Chandler then behind them. Then behind him it's Dave Tapping. There goes Pearce through into first place in 175. Well, also Rob Pearce on the possible max as well, because he won his heat earlier on. Smith winning the opening race, and Pearce winning heat 2. Oh, look at that debris on that turn. But if you number the cars that went out there, Willie Harrison, Dave Mellor, Len Wolfenden I think went as well. Mick Noden, so did number 1 Stu Smith. They're coming back into it though, and the position's being marked out. Don't get fooled though by Toulson's car. He's a lap down. 175 leads it. It's Rob Pearce. It's not Toulson second. It looks like Des Chandler 213 second, and then behind him it's Dave Tapping in 412. Wayman coming past John Lund there. Willie Harrison's car with its back end just parked out across the track. The halfway flag is out now for the drivers here in this PPS Challenge Shield Grand Final. Car pulling off there looked like John Dowson 294. Rob Pearce then going down into the pit turn. The dust rising once more here in the Grand Final. Wayman still having quite a battle with Lund in 53. Beresford hanging behind looking for the scraps. Lund so disappointed after that World Championship exit in the semi. And out in front, Rob Pearce 175. Looking to get his way past these back marks and put plenty of cars between him and the second place man. Bobby Burns perched up on the fence there on the turn, making a slight chicane effect, although there's a fair amount of distance between Burns and Harrison with the width of the Belle Vue turns. So the cars go down into the home straight. Pearce though is up by the pit turn. Car pulled off onto the inside. It looks like Rod Faulding 36. Indeed it is, along with Charles Pickering 214. It looks like Faulding might be trying to get back in the race though. So 175. Rob Pearce leads. Len Wolfenden's coming through the field strongly. Not far behind him it's Stuart Smith. There goes Beresford 260. Hardy going through there, followed by Higgins. There's Stuart Smith. Still got a fair amount to make up. If my eyes don't deceive me, believe me, with the dust about here, they could well do. I think the track could have done with another watering prior to the final, but there again, we have to make do with what we have here. The dust obviously impairing the pictures. We do apologise. Rob Pearce then out in front in 175. Second now, it looks like it could even be Wolfenden. Wolfenden closing in all the time. No, it looks like Dave Tapping's still up there. Peter Faulding, I think, is with him, 33. Pearce going down past the pits in the lead, and Dave Cusack getting caught up there with 53, John Lund. Not the best of nights, to say the least, for the Clitheroe driver. Pearce leads. Looking down for second place. It's difficult to read at the present time. It could easily be Len Wolfenden though. Noden's been picked up by that group of cars on that turn. It's a difficult turn obviously now with Burns and Smith also there. Well now, Rob Pearce looking set for victory here. Pearce going down in front of the start. We're coming into the closing stages of this race. Pearce leading then in 175. Second place, I think, at the moment is going to... Looks like it's going to Wolfenden, indeed, 190. Rod Faulding's pulled off again. He's already been out once. So Pearce from Huncote in Leicestershire, looking for his second win of the night, and the checkered flag comes out. It's a win for number 175. Rob Pearce wins the PPS Challenge Shield here tonight at Belle Vue. And Stu Smith catching something there. Can't see under the car, obviously, from that angle. But obvious problems there for the world champion. Limping home at the present time. I don't know if he's going to get across the start-finish line. Looks like he's got something under the car. The dust rises there and completely obliterates any chance of seeing it. Just crossing the line now, Stu Smith, and pulls up onto the infield straight away. Looks like he's got obvious problems with that wheel. Yes, the tyre's gone completely on the rear inside wheel. So 175, Rob Pearce wins that. It looks like Wolfenden got second. We'll go to race control, obviously, for full confirmation on that result. It looks as if there's no doubt whatsoever about the winner, though. 175, Rob Pearce, and Len Wolfenden could well have had second. Well, let's take a very quick look at the results of the PPS Grand Final. First, Rob Pearce, 175. Second, indeed, was Bert Finnegan, 55. Len Wolfenden must have been a lap down. Third place was 412 Dave Tapping, then came Frankie Wayman 212, 155 Brian Tuplin, 85 Ray Tilsley, 7th was 260 Dave Beresford, 8th Nigel Hardy, 9th was Peter Faulding, and 10th was Pete Bashford, number 107. Coming up next we have the Grand National here at Belle Vue. We come now to the last race of the night here at Belle Vue, the Grand National qualifying race, 16 laps, an all-comers race, all cars that are able to run, all drivers that want to run are out in this Grand National race. Well, Rob Pearce has declined to appear in the Grand National following his Eton final win. He'd have to go off a lap handicap, so no chance of a treble here tonight. Len Wolfenden, Joe Jopling, Nigel Wharton all in view there, going down the home straight on the running lap. 304 Dave Mellor, 260 Dave Beresford, 212 Frankie Wayman. Behind him 55 Bert Finnegan, 53 John Lund. Up at the front we have number 87 on the inside position, Neil Brigg from Huddersfield. Outside him 312, and that's Pete Lancaster. Waiting now for that green flag to drop. They're still on amber. And the green flag is ready by the start. It looks like the Grand National's about to get underway here at Belle Vue. And the green is down, and the race is off here now for the Grand National. Leading coming down the home straight. Indeed, it's number 87. Second 312 Pete Lancaster. Yellows having a rough ride down into the turn. Let's look at this huge field of reds. Well, now it looks like they're all going to get out of it relatively unscathed. Finnegan attending to the back of Nigel Wharton's car. Buster Watts dropped behind him in 59. Joe Jopling's pulling out on the turn. Well, Blue Tom's having a difficult time there. Looks like number 280 getting himself into problems, and that was the car of the Blue Tom driver. Indeed, looking at the programme, it's a new driver for this year. I think I mentioned him earlier, and that was the car of Simon Gill. Down into the turn then for the race leader. It's number 312 now. I think Pete Lancaster, or that yellow top indeed, has made the break. Lancaster second, coming through strongly are the yellows now. Coming down the home straight now, the race leader in front of the starter. We got the number this time, and it is 310. 310 hits the front. That's not a very familiar face. I haven't seen him too often. That's Paddy Byrne from Todmorden, which is on the Lancashire-Yorkshire border. Pete Bashford getting carried into the fence along with the blue top. So it's Byrne who leads in 310. Frankie Wayman there just in front of Dave Beresford. And Bert Finnegan has pulled off. He's lost his front wheel. Looks like he's lost the front axle assembly completely. Dave Mellor parked up on the infield as well. And the amber lights are flashing. The waved yellows are out. So problems here. They're going to have to sort things out. It is 73 who is confirmed as first place. And 73 is Rob Cowley. Two cars parked up there on the pit turn. So a delay now in this Grand National qualifying race as the danger is removed from the track. Joe Jopling's pulled off. John Lund as well, I think you'll find. And the race is back underway. It's Rob Cowley who leads number 73. Bashford hot in his tail on 107. There's a fair way down to the next man. Looks like John Dowson, 294. Bashford challenging now in 107. Bashford from Brentwood in Essex. Nigel Hardy just in front of the race leader Rob Cowley, who's trying to get past these cars. Put plenty between him and Bashford. Long way down in third, Rod Faulding. Then comes Len Wolfenden. Looks like John Toulson, John Dowson, Frankie Wayman, John Lund, Dave Beresford. Notable absentee from this one, Stuart Smith, of course, the world champion. On the back wheel going out there on the other top, just about holding it in. Mike Shirley going past 395. Looking for that race leader to come through. There he is, the yellow car with the blue spoiler. Number 73, Rob Cowley. Pete Bashford just behind 107. Nigel Hardy pulling up on the infield there. 87 in view. He was an early race leader off the pole position of the grid. So there's Rob Cowley, the leading car, having a problem of shaking off Pete Bashford here in the Grand National. Halfway stage now reached in this 16-lap race. 8 down, 8 to go. Red Sox going down into the 10th. Rod Falding, Len Wolfenden, John Toulson just behind. Wolfenden second in that semi-final, Toulson third. He'll be delighted with the third row position of Bradford. And the flag is withdrawn now as 73, Rob Cowley, comes down in front of the starter. Pete Bashford hot in his tail in 107. It's a fair way down to third place. There is a car in between them, Phil Haig, down to Rod Falding. Then we have quite a battle between Toulson and Wolfenden. And indeed, Toulson just winning out at the present time. So there it is. First Cowley, second Bashford looking down to third, and it is now Rod Falding there. John Toulson just behind. Haig is a lap down now. Len Wolfenden 190 just behind them. And John Lund just pulling out there in 53. Just saw him going onto the centre green. And there it is, Cowley. Now with about 1.5 car lengths lead over Pete Bashford, stretching it out to 3 or 4 going down the back straight. Rob Cowley, another one of those Leicestershire-based drivers, if memory serves me right. Rob Cowley, number 73, in fact from Warwickshire, only just over the border. Cowley first, Bashford second, third place looks like Toulson's broken free, with Rod Falding in fourth, and fifth is Len Wolfenden. Sixth is Frankie Wayman, seventh is Dave Beresford, eighth is John Dowson. Into the closing stages now of this race, and indeed this meeting here at Belle Vue. Rob Cowley looking to hold on. Already had a couple of blue top wins for Rob Pearce Heat final here tonight. Looks like another Midland blue top is going to win the Grand National in the form of Rob Cowley. And their 280 getting carried off into the fence by 87. 87 being Neil Brigg, and 280 being Simon Gill. Both of them having a problem there. Buster Watson going past. He's got the leader hot in his tail. 73, Rob Cowley. Looks like it's going to be Cowley's race. And the checkered flag is being readied now. And it's a win in number 73 for Rob Cowley in the Grand National. The checkered flag is out. And there it is. Cowley wins in 73. So the Midland Blue Tops have had a good night here tonight. And that is for sure. Second place, it looked like it was just John Toulson snatching it from Pete Bashford at the end. So good night, as I say, for the Midland Blue Tops. Rob Pearce wins the heat final, and Rob Cowley wins the Grand National. But the main honours tonight go to Mike Close, the winner of the World Championship semi-final, and indeed all 10 drivers who go through to that World Final. And I'll remind you of that revision to the result of that World Championship semi-final. Willie Harrison did not qualify for the World Final. Peter Falding was upgraded from 14th to 9th place, which made Robbie Craig the 10th qualifier. Other places were as mentioned earlier. So a touch of controversy in this meeting, but a success.